The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with whispers as Lieutenant Maya Torres entered, her boots echoing against the crystalline floor. Ranked 97th among the Alliance's tactical officers, she was the lowest-ranked human ever summoned before the War Council. The generals, towering Crethians with their 4 arms, wise Valanthi with their telepathic crowns, and battle-scarred Dormac warriors, barely acknowledged her presence. The human, General Vextharn rumbled, his mandibles clicking with barely concealed disdain. Tell us why we shouldn't execute you for your failure on Terminus 9. Maya stood straight, though her hands trembled slightly at her sides. Terminus 9 had been a disaster. The predator cubs, juvenile Scarnath, the galaxy's most feared apex species, had broken free from containment. 300 soldiers had died trying to recapture them, but Maya had been there. She had seen something the generals, safe in their command ships, had not. General, with respect, it wasn't a failure of containment, she said quietly. It was a failure of understanding. The council chamber erupted in harsh laughter. Commander Thelzon of the Valanthi leaned forward, his crystalline eyes glowing with contempt. A rank 97th officer presumes to lecture this council on understanding? The Scarnath are mindless killing machines. Everyone knows this. Everyone is wrong. The silence that followed was absolute. Maya reached into her jacket and pulled out a data slate, projecting holographic footage above the council table. The generals watched as images played out. Maya, alone in a destroyed hangar bay, facing a dozen Scarnath cubs, each the size of an Earth tiger. Their obsidian scales gleamed under emergency lighting, their rows of teeth designed to tear through battle armor. But they weren't attacking. When I found them, every time a soldier approached with weapons drawn, they attacked out of fear. So I tried something different. The footage showed Maya slowly lowering herself to one knee, placing her weapon on the ground. The lead cub, a female with a distinctive white marking across her snout, tilted her massive head, watching. I showed them I wasn't a threat, Maya continued. In human culture, we have a gesture of respect. She demonstrated, placing her hand over her heart and bowing her head. I used it because I had nothing else. What happened next made several generals lean forward in disbelief. The lead cub moved closer, studying Maya with intelligent, amber eyes. Then, slowly, deliberately, the creature lowered its head and front legs in a mirror of Maya's gesture. A perfect bow. One by one, the other cubs followed suit. Impossible, General Vextharn whispered. The Scarnath don't have the cognitive capacity for recognition of non-hostile intent, for cultural exchange. Maya interrupted, her voice gaining strength. We assumed they didn't because we never tried to communicate. We just saw predators and reacted with violence. She advanced the footage. It showed Maya slowly standing, the cubs watching but not attacking. She walked backward toward the hangar exit, and the entire group followed her peacefully. Within 20 minutes, she had led all 12 cubs to a secure holding area where their pack mother was waiting. The cubs weren't the enemy, Maya said. They were children, separated and terrified. The real failure wasn't in the containment systems. It was in our assumptions that anything non-humanoid and powerful must be controlled through force. The council sat in stunned silence. Finally, Commander Thelzon spoke, his tone no longer mocking. You risked your life on a theory. On hope. No, Commander. I risked my life on observation and empathy. That's what humans do best. Maya smiled slightly. We look for the person behind. Assume intelligence before assuming threat. Sometimes we're wrong. But on Terminus 9, being willing to see beyond our prejudices saved 300 more lives from being lost. General Vextharn stood, his enormous frame towering over the table. For a long moment, he stared at Maya. Then, deliberately, he placed his primary right hand over the center of his thorax and bowed his head, a Crethian gesture of deep respect. Perhaps, he said slowly, rank 97th is where we place those we have failed to see clearly. One by one, every general in the chamber rose and offered their species' gesture of honor. Maya had entered the council as the lowest-ranked officer in the room. She left it as an advisor to the High Command, carrying a single recommendation: that humanity's greatest tactical advantage wasn't their weapons or technology, but their stubborn refusal to stop looking for common ground, even when facing teeth and claws in the dark.